However, this particular video would not leave me alone, no matter how hard I tried to say, dude, I've got another one working on, I'm just going to work on that one, but no, that wouldn't happen. And since this one doesn't necessarily need a script, I thought that I would just ramble at you guys about my thoughts regarding various, Disney direct-to-video sequels. Now, for those of you kids, and I say kids, who didn't grow up in the era of DVDs, Disney decided that they were going to capitalize on, well, stuff that was already successful and release them. Now, a few of these titles were released on VHS, of course. And some of them are really great, some of them are bad, like really bad. And so I'm gonna go through a tier list that took me forever to find a way to make, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about why I think certain ones are the best and why some of them absolutely suck. Alright, so hopefully y'all can see my mouse. Kind of. Alright, cool. Sort of, kind of. Let's back this up. There we go. So, I'm gonna start with S tier, which is the best ones in my opinion. Now, these are not all of them that came out. I picked the ones that I really liked, that I identified with when I was younger, and that I really enjoyed. And this is just my personal preference on all of these. So, number 1, we have Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Now, for those of you who did not know that there was more to the Aladdin story, this was their wedding, finally. And, oh, hello. Their wedding, finally. And this was when Robin Williams it was the last time he played the genie. And you can definitely tell that there's more to the movie. There's more, the songs are great. The story is great. Now that I'm older, I have a crush on Aladdin's dad, and not necessarily Aladdin himself. Almost all the original voices are back, and the story is just great, and it's fun to have like a father-son, story, and I honestly think it's one of the best ones. Next to it, we have Return of Jafar. Now, this came out in 1995, and I remember the hubbub around it. It was a movie that was coming direct to video. I even think Taco Bell, back when they used to have kids' meals, and they had the little toys, there was a Return of Jafar toy. I don't remember if we ever got it, but I just remember being really excited about it. Jafar obviously was trapped in a lamp at the end of Aladdin, and he decides to, he gets released by this guy named Abi Small, which of course, as we all know, is abysmal. And this one did not have Robin Williams as the genie. It was actually Dan Castellaneta, which that was new for me. Apparently he also did the voice of Genie on the Aladdin TV series. This was a really great setup, actually, for some of the stuff that happened in the series. The songs are great. They're not that memorable to me, but the one that Iago does is pretty fun. So I have that up there in the S tier just because it is the first one that I can remember in, like, my memory about which one that was the best. So next, we have The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. It is an excellent film. Like, okay, hold on, I got it. Okay, one second. It is an excellent film because they used up some music that was originally in the show, and it's all just hummable and singable. And I mean, like, some of my favorites are Upendi, He Lives in You. It's all so good. And so part of the reason it's on this list is because the story is really well done. We kind of get to see more about Simba as a father, and how he really just wants to do right by her and by his father. It's great. It's really great. Highly recommend. So then this one is called Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. And it's basically a series of vignettes that have to do with Christmas. There's some really great ones. There's this one where Huey, Dewey, and Louie decide that they want Christmas to happen all the time, so they do something about that. It's certainly it's very much a niche kind of thing. Christmas is a big deal in my family, so we really loved that. There's The Gift of the Magi, told from Minnie and Mickey's perspective. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Highly recommend that one. And then here we have Beauty and the Beast and the Enchanted Christmas. What do I have to say about this one? Well, first of all, Tim Curry's in it, and Tim Curry is an amazing villain. So, there's a good reason to watch it. Second of all, you have Bernadette Peters as a character in it. Almost all the original voice cast came back, I believe. And here's the thing. Whoa. Here's the thing. When you have been a Disney fan as long as I have, you can tell when the voices are different. And so it's really easy to figure it out when the voices are not the original voice. So, back to what I was saying. It is definitely, like, I think it's great. The story's a little but I really did the music. I really enjoyed the setting. And I mean, Tim Curry. What more do I have to say? He's amazing. And then finally up here on the tier list, we have House of Mouse, or House of Villains, as it were. And this was based off the TV show Mickey's House of Mouse, where it showed, like, classic cartoons, new cartoons. And it kind of exists in that universe where all the Disney characters kind of know they are in this universe kind of thing. I don't know. And the villains take over. It's got some great musics. It has one great song called It's Our House Now, and it's a really good song. It kind of reminded me of a movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid called Disney's Halloween Treat. It was very good, and it was, I just really dig the Halloween vibes, and I think this is still one of the last ones that the original voice of Mickey did. Don't quote me on that. But that is one of my S-tier Disney video sequels. So now, we will move on to A-tier, which is, I mean, they're okay. They're not the best, but they're still up there. So the first one I have picked is, let's see if I can go in a little tighter. There we go. The first one I have picked is The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. Now, for those of us who grew up watching The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the first one, and going, well, why didn't he get Esmeralda in the end? Lo and behold, when I read the book later, my whole world was shattered. But anyway, Quasimodo gets a chance at getting his happy ending. Now, there's a lot of things that are complicated about this movie. Ooh. Among them, here, we'll do that. Among them, the fact that you can't have jewels on the inside of a bell, otherwise it won't ring. And they kind of erase the whole, like, racism tensions from the original movie, which made it kind of good. There's a one-off sentence where Esmeralda just says, "Because I'm a gypsy." Demi Moore is back as Esmeralda, though, and that's pretty neat. Unfortunately, Phoebus becomes a little bit of a joke character, but you really feel for him and her when their kid, Zephyr, is kidnapped by the villain. I should have put a spoiler warning at the beginning of this. Anyway, and I really dug Jennifer Love Hewitt as Madeline. And the music's okay. Hummable. Some good songs. My favorite song is the one that she does at the end, is the character song that is sung at the end. And you know, the gargoyles were in it, and yeah, I just liked it, you know. And it has some nice themes, you know, beauty is on the inside, never take anything by its cover, and the villain is pretty great. What is his name? Sarouche, that's his name. And the guy who, I don't know who plays him, but it's fantastic. He's really excellent. So, we now move on to The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. Oh my god. There was such a buzz around this one because we were gonna see what happened after Ariel and Eric got married. There was a kid. It was good. Tara Strong is the voice of Melody, who is Ariel's daughter. Ariel and Eric's daughter. And she does an amazing job. I believe she's also the singing voice as well. It was really nice to see Jodie Benson back in the Ariel role, not just like she was in the TV show, but as she was in the movies. Eric didn't get as much screen time as I would have liked, but, you know, he's the concerned dad, and that's okay. I think they really were able to put that allegory between puberty and being a mermaid together. There is literally at one point, and there is literally at one point one of my favorite scenes where Ariel's trying to explain to Melody what it's like being an awkward teenager, and Ariel literally goes, "I was a fish out of water," and it's like, but no, you don't understand. She was. This is probably the first Disney sequel where I sort of felt like the music, like bursting into song, sort of seemed a little inopportune. I don't know if that was just me or if that was just my sense of sensibilities at the time. I don't know. I just know that there were a couple times where I was like, oh, we're singing again? Why can't we just move up? Okay, whatever. Morgana as a villain, it was Ursula's sister. Pretty okay. Not as scary as Ursula, and not as fabulous either, but I don't know anybody who could be as fabulous as Ursula. I do also believe Pat Carroll voiced Morgana as well. I'm not sure, but still decent villain work. So that's why it's up there. Then over here we have Return to Neverland. Now this was actually fabulously well done, I thought. The only reason it's down here on the A tier is because you have to kind of think about the fact that there were parts of Peter Pan that were cut out of that. You know, they didn't have the racism about the Indians in this one, which, that was good. But it was definitely, I liked it. The animation was really clean. The setting it in World War II. The ending where he sees Wendy and he's just like, you grew up. And she's like, not really. And it was kind of like a moment where she's like, the grown-up Wendy is telling those of us in the audience who were growing up that it was still okay to believe in magic and fairy tales and in Peter Pan. So, I liked it. It was alright. So that's why it's on the A tier. Now, B tier. Alright, we're kind of iffy about it. We're not sure. Has some great moments. Has some kind of moments. So, I have Brother Bear 2 on here because I really loved the first movie. And this is, you know, oh my lord. What's the name of the guy? I don't know. The main character who stayed a bear, Kenai, he gets a love interest, and she ends up becoming a bear to stay with him, and the little guy, whose name suddenly escapes me, Coda. And they've got the moose back. I think they're voiced by different actors. Some of it was some of the suspension of disbelief was a little bit shoddy. Like, I had a little bit of trouble trying to understand some of the stuff that was going on. Excuse me. But I was pleasantly surprised by it. It's a B tier just because there were parts of the story that were a little kind of a little bit kind of like, you're kidding, right? So that's where that is. Now, an extremely goofy movie. I love the first Goof. I love a goofy movie. It is one of my favorite Disney movies out there. The music, the plot, all of it is great. This one is okay, because Goofy gets a happy ending, other than just being a dad. But where the fuck is Roxanne? That's what I want to know. Max is going off to college. Couldn't they have just given us a, yeah, Roxanne's got accepted to this school, and we'll be writing to each other and stuff, or yeah, no, me and Roxanne broke it off, whatever. Where is she? She was such driving force in the first movie, and I don't get it. Also, the uh the villains in this one is this fraternity of weirdos, and the main villain is just this kind of, he gets crazy eyes, and it's kind of weird and a little terrifying, and I'm not into that. Does it speak to the college experience at all? Yeah, a tiny bit. Just a little. I really enjoyed PJ's character development. But that one's just kind of eh. Now this one, Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. Excellent premise. Basically, the stepmothers and the stepsisters and stepmother get access to the fairy godmother's wand and kind of turn things around. And it's fascinating, for sure. But the reason it's on the B tier is just because only really parts of it caught my attention. I really wanted to like it more, but I guess I'm so worn out on the time travel trope that for me it just wasn't worth giving it my full attention. But excellent voice acting from all of the voice actors. Good music. I don't remember if there were any songs in it or not, but it was okay. It was alright. Now we're moving on to the C tier, where it's just like, okay guys, I know you can do better than this. So first on the C tier we have Atlantis, Milo's Return. The only reason this is on the C tier is because this was originally going to be a TV show. But the first movie didn't do what Disney wanted it to do, so they just kind of shoved it all together into one movie, which is so disappointing, because there's so much that you could have done with with the whole idea of Atlantis, and I really wish they had done more with it. And there are times where you can tell it was not meant to be a movie. It's clunky. There's parts of it where you don't get a final resolution and everything like that. So the only reason it's there is because it could have been so much better. Now, Bambi 2. Again, a father-son relationship movie. The only reason it sticks out in my mind is because Patrick Stewart is the voice of Bambi's dad, the king of the forest, prince of the forest, whatever his name was. And it was okay, you know. I'm a big Thumper and Flower fan, so it was nice to see some stuff for them too. But it doesn't really stick out in my mind. So, So let's see here. What else do we have? The Jungle Book 2. So this one also doesn't really stick out in my mind, but it was okay. I love Baloo, so that's probably why it's on here, even though I don't remember much about it. And you know, I have a soft spot for the Jungle Book because it was my grandmother's favorite animated Disney films, so that's kind of why this is on there. Now, Mulan 2. I have a lot of words about this. Where is the self-assured hero of China? All of a sudden now she's obsessed with weddings, and Shang is completely incapable of doing things, and Mushu didn't learn any the lessons that Mushu learned from the first movie, completely thrown out the window. And it's so irritating because I loved Mulan. The cool part about this is that you get to see some development for the three guys. They fall in love with these three princesses, and it's good. The thing that jumps out at me from that is the song "I Want to Be Like Other Girls." There's a regular version and then the pop version, and the pop version was everywhere on Disney Channel at the time. And that's a fun song. But that's really the only reason that it's on here, is because, you know, And then, I mean, there's the idea of the yin and the yang. Like, Shang and Mulan have to learn to get together to be two halves of a whole. Either way, not really my favorite, but it wasn't... It could have been better. I hate fart jokes. They're only funny the first 3 times around. The Lion King 1.5 also had good music, which was why it's on this list. But that's about it. I don't remember anything about the story. I don't remember anything about any of it. So that's just kind of why it's there. Now, Lady and the Tramp 2: Scamp's Adventure. I had to really grow up a bit more to love Lady and the Tramp. It is not my favorite. Now that I'm older, I do enjoy it. But I just got irritated about Scamp. You know, it's obvious that he's Tramp's kid. Like, he's the one out of all the puppies that Lady and Tramp have that look like his dad. But, like, I don't know. I can't even remember anything about it. Like, all I can remember is being irritated that he kept getting into trouble. So yeah, that's why it's down there. Now, this is Mickey's Magical Christmas, but it's technically a House of Mouse sequel-ish. I wasn't fond of it. It's got some good vignettes, but I don't even remember. Some of the characters, though, have funny moments. I think there's a part where Cinderella says, "And I'm thankful for mice who make evening wear," or something like that. So, not really my favorite. Now, we move on to the D tier. Pocahontas 2. Now, when the first movie came out, I was in 2nd grade, but we had already been learning about Pocahontas and how she'd gone to England and whatever, and so I remember saying to my friends one day, they should do a sequel about how she goes to England and all of that, and my friends and I were like, yeah, that'd be cool, blah. I didn't have any high hopes for this. I really wanted it to be good. I did. And then the whitewashing began. Oh, colonialism could be ended if we all could just talk. And just, oh my God, as an adult now, I'm like, this is horrible. This is disgusting. This is terrible. Yeah, this is a great message to send to kids. Fantastic. Perfect. You know. And, yeah. The music's bad. The acting's bad. The story's bad. The premise is bad. The love triangle. What love triangle? He was dead. Of course she moved on. Or at least she thought he was dead. Anyway, it is down there at the bottom because it is just bad. Not only for the erasure of history and the whitewashing, but just the general plot being shaky. Why the fuck was Ratcliffe back? He should have... Maybe if they'd had a different villain, but honestly the villain are the white people. I don't know. But that's why it's down there at the D. Because it was that horrible. Like, it was that bad. So, yeah. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, of course. There's a few that I didn't include on this list, which are the Tinkerbell movies, and I feel like that deserves a video of its own, because I was definitely really involved in the Tinkerbell fandom there in the beginning. So I'll probably do a different video on that, but yeah, this is just kind of a ramble to get my thoughts out and to kind of discuss how I felt about things. If you enjoy this kind of video, give me a thumbs up. Remember to take care of yourselves, wash your hands, do the work, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!